Tamarack Village apartment complex. Here, detectives are trying to get to the bottom of who killed a 23-year-old woman and why. And disturbingly, it's one of 2 BSO homicide investigations in Tamarack Thursday.
On a quiet afternoon in Tamarack, Florida, a harrowing 911 call pierced the calm. A young woman was found dead, her neck slashed in what appeared to be a brutal attack. She was just 23 years old, and her name was Kayla Hodgson. How far can jealousy push someone? In every relationship, there's a hidden layer, a fragile line between devotion, love, and something far more dangerous. In Kayla's story, that line shattered completely. Hi, guys, grab a cup of coffee and settle in for this thrilling true crime story. I'd love to know where you're watching this video from. Let me know in the comments. Don't hesitate to join the conversation too. Your thoughts and input are a vital part of this story. Welcome to 24/7 True Crime Chronicles, where all our stories are based on true crimes. Kindly support us by subscribing to this channel and turn on the notification bell icon so you won't miss any of our newest stories. Okay, let's continue with the story. Kayla Hodgson was a young woman brimming with life, a fact consistently echoed by her friends and former colleagues in South Florida. Described as bright, beautiful, really sweet, and the life of the party, Kayla possessed an effervescent personality that left a lasting impression on everyone she encountered. She was known as everybody's hype man, always ready with kind words, a vibrant personality, and a big heart that drew people to her. By day, she served as a flight attendant, traveling across the country and collecting experiences that filled her Instagram feed, bringing comfort to passengers. By night, she was a popular bartender at private events, a well-known bottle waitress, her energy drawing people to her as a true social connector. She loved her work, cherished her friends, and embraced the lively atmosphere of Florida's nights. Kayla thrived on meeting new people and hearing their stories. She even had plans to eventually open her own cocktail lounge, a dream she'd saved for over 2 years. Kayla called Tamarack, Florida home, a place where quiet mornings led to bustling afternoons, nestled closer to the wild Everglades than the bustling beach. It was a town where residents felt a sense of calm, a comforting normalcy. Kayla had recently settled into her new apartment within a complex there, a fresh start and a new chapter promising endless possibilities. But as days turned into that fateful summer afternoon, an unseen force began its silent approach. A force so focused, so consuming, that it would shatter the quiet peace, leaving a wound that defied comprehension. Everything about Kayla's world seemed bright, untouched, but there was something Kayla didn't know. A darkness, utterly unexpected, was already poised to descend. Someone was watching her movements. Someone was tracking her visitors. Someone had decided that Kayla's life was an obstacle that needed to be removed, and that someone was closer to her social circle than anyone could have imagined. While police in Florida searched for Kayla's killer, a woman named Sakina Thompson continued her daily routine in New York City. At 28, Sakina had built a reputation as a skilled nail technician with a growing clientele. Her Instagram showcased intricate nail designs that attracted customers from across the city. But there was another side to Sakina that her professional profile didn't reveal. Those who knew her described a woman with intense emotions and fierce loyalty, especially when it came to her boyfriend, Terry. She was all about him, a former friend would later tell investigators. Everything revolved around Terry. Their relationship was her whole identity. Sakina's social media told a more complex story. Between nail art demonstrations and couple photos were videos showing a different personality. In several TikToks, she boasted about her willingness to fight anyone who crossed her. "If you come for what's mine, I'll throw hands. Period. I don't play about what belongs to me." Followers treated these as entertaining exaggerations, the kind of content that drives engagement. No one recognized them as warning signs. Her digital footprint revealed a pattern of monitoring Terry's movements and questioning his loyalty. When he was late coming home, she demanded photographic proof of his whereabouts. But how did Sakina and Kayla's paths cross? What connected a nail technician from New York to a flight attendant in Florida? The answer lay in a chance meeting at a Miami nightclub, an encounter that would set in motion a chain of events leading to murder. At the core of this unfolding narrative was a man named Terry. He was known for a carefree lifestyle, often juggling multiple connections. One of those connections was with Kayla Hodgson. Their relationship was tumultuous, marked by fiery arguments and frequent reconciliation. Kayla, assertive and outspoken, especially on social media, often presented a confrontational stance to the world, a woman who wasn't afraid to express her anger. Days before the unimaginable happened, Terry and Kayla flew to Miami for a party. Memorial Day weekend, Miami's nightlife was in full swing. It was there, amidst the flashing lights and pounding music, that their paths crossed with Kayla Hodgson. Terry engaged with Kayla, a fleeting interaction that to him might have seemed insignificant, but to Kayla, watching from the sidelines, it ignited a fuse. The volatile nature of her relationship with Terry, combined with growing suspicion, pushed her to a dangerous edge. What began as casual flirting evolved into regular communication. Phone records show Terry and Kayla exchanged hundreds of texts over the next 6 weeks. Terry, who worked in real estate, began making frequent trips to Florida. He told Kayla these were business meetings. Hotel receipts would later prove he stayed in Fort Lauderdale, just minutes from Kayla's apartment. By late June, Kayla's suspicions had grown. Friends reported she became withdrawn, constantly checking her phone and asking unusual questions about tracking devices. On June 30th, Kayla ordered a GPS tracker with overnight delivery. The device was small, magnetic, and designed to be hidden on a vehicle. 3 days later, she placed it under the wheel well of Terry's Range Rover while he slept. The tracker connected to an app on her phone, allowing her to monitor his movements in real time. For a week, she watched as the dot on her screen moved between business meetings. Then, on July 12th, the pattern changed. Terry's car remained stationary at an apartment complex in Tamarack for over 3 hours. The address matched Kayla's. The small device relayed its cold, hard data. Kayla now knew. She knew Terry was seeing Kayla, and more chillingly, she knew Kayla's exact address. What would you do if you discovered your partner was cheating? Would you confront them, walk away, or would you plan something more permanent? For Kayla, the choice was clear. Within hours of this discovery, she booked a one-way flight to Fort Lauderdale. The quiet street of Tamarack held Kayla's home, her sanctuary. But across state lines, a predator armed with knowledge gleaned from a hidden device set a vengeful course. July 13th, 2022. On that fateful afternoon, Kayla Hodgson arrived at Kayla's apartment complex, her mind set on a singular, vengeful purpose. The question of how she gained entry to Kayla's unit remains a chilling detail. Perhaps she waited unseen for the opportune moment, or perhaps she possessed a cunning that allowed her to bypass a locked door. Investigators believe she either followed another resident in or claimed to be visiting someone. What's certain is that she reached Kayla's door without raising alarms. Kayla, likely expecting Terry to return, opened the door without checking the peephole. Or maybe she did. Face to face with her boyfriend's girlfriend, she had no time to react. Once inside, Kayla's premeditated fury became terribly real. She confronted Kayla, and the confrontation quickly turned devastating. Kayla was assaulted with a sharp knife, enduring multiple severe wounds. A deep gash stretching from ear to ear across her neck completed the assault. The nature of the attack spoke to an extreme personal rage and intent to cause ultimate fatality. The act was swift, brutal, and lethal. Shortly after, Kayla departed the apartment, her composure unnerving. She reportedly met with Terry, the very man at the center of her obsession, and together they boarded a red-eye flight back to New York City that same day, leaving behind a scene of unspeakable horror and a quiet community unknowingly on the precipice of a nightmare. Later that afternoon, a frantic 911 call pierced the calm. An unresponsive woman had been found. Emergency services arrived to a scene that would forever haunt those who witnessed it. A caller said that there was a gash on the patient's neck and it looked like someone had slashed her neck. Kayla Hodgson, just 23, was gone. The news sent fear throughout Tamarack, a town grappling with an event that defied their understanding. This act, driven by jealousy, raises a profound question. Have you ever witnessed such potent emotion twist into a force so destructive? Kindly share your thoughts in the comments below. The morning sun beat down on Tamarack Village apartments as emergency vehicles flooded the parking lot. Neighbors gathered in clusters, watching as police secured the scene with yellow tape. Inside apartment 424, officers found Kayla Hodgson's body on the floor of her living room. The medical examiner would later confirm what was immediately apparent. This wasn't an accident or robbery gone wrong. This was a calculated, brutal murder. The community reacted with shock. Tamarack wasn't known for violent crime. Residents described it as a place where people left their doors unlocked and knew their neighbors by name. As detectives combed through Kayla's apartment, they found no signs of forced entry. Nothing appeared stolen. Her wallet, jewelry, and electronics remained untouched. Whoever killed Kayla had either been let in willingly or had a key. As police expanded their investigation, they had no suspects, no witnesses, and seemingly no motive. But what they didn't realize was that the killer had already fled the state, and they left something behind that would eventually lead investigators right to their door. The first 48 hours of a murder investigation are critical. For Kayla's case, those hours passed with mounting frustration. Detectives interviewed neighbors, friends, co-workers, anyone who might have seen something unusual, but leads were scarce. Security cameras in the complex had blind spots. No one reported hearing a struggle. We're asking anyone with information, no matter how insignificant it might seem, to come forward. The lead detective announced at a press conference 3 days after the murder.
Have not revealed the manner of death. Family and friends say she was stabbed. Former South Florida Police Chief Frank Fernandez says it's not typical for an active scene to go on this long.
Certainly the fact that they're still in there would indicate that they're finding a significant amount of evidence, number one. And number two, that they want to be very detailed so that they could find the person responsible.
The community rallied. Flyers with Kayla's photo appeared throughout Tamarack. A $5,000 reward was offered for information leading to an arrest. Local businesses displayed collection jars to increase the reward fund. Many residents watching the news held on to a common belief about such crimes, anticipating a male perpetrator. Yet, the facts of this particular case would soon defy that expectation entirely. Meanwhile, investigators dug into Kayla's digital footprint. Her phone records, social media accounts, and text messages. They created a timeline of her final days, mapping her movements and interactions. Something wasn't adding up. The crime scene suggested personal motivation, not a random act of violence. The killer had targeted Kayla specifically. But investigators didn't know yet that this wasn't a random attack. The truth was hidden in plain sight, buried in the digital trail of someone who wasn't even on their radar. As detectives continued their investigation, they began noticing a pattern in Kayla's recent communications. A name kept appearing, someone she'd met only months before, someone who had a powerful motive to want her gone. 3 days after Kayla's body was discovered, detectives made their breakthrough. Phone data revealed consistent communication between Kayla and a number registered to Terry. When investigators pulled Terry's records, they found something unexpected. A series of heated texts from Sakina on the night of the murder. When questioned, Terry initially denied knowing Kayla beyond casual acquaintance, but faced with phone records showing hundreds of messages, his story crumbled. The final piece clicked when detectives discovered Sakina's last-minute flight to Florida, arriving hours before the murder and departing immediately after. The timeline matched perfectly. Through persistent effort and careful examination of every lead, authorities began to make connections. Slowly, meticulously, evidence pointed in an unexpected direction. A warrant was issued, and just weeks after the horrific crime, a name emerged: Sakina Thompson. The pursuit extended across state lines. On August 3, 2022, Sakina Thompson, 28, was apprehended by police officers in Springfield Gardens, New York. News of the arrest brought a wave of relief to Tamarack, but that relief soon mixed with profound bewilderment. The suspect was not who many had imagined. It was a woman. As details of Sakina's life came to light, a chilling portrait emerged. Investigators uncovered a trove of social media posts, a digital diary of her tumultuous relationship with Terry, and a clear pattern of aggression. A search of her apartment yielded damning evidence. The tracking app still installed on her phone, a receipt for the GPS device, and a deleted note with Kayla's address. In her bathroom trash, forensic teams found traces of blood that would later match Kayla's DNA. Local news reported the arrest. New details tonight on an arrest in New York City. This after a young woman was killed last month inside her apartment in Tamarack. The Broward Sheriff's Office announced that the suspect, Sakina Thompson, is now in custody. A reporter from CBS 4 added, BSO says that the suspect was arrested in a neighborhood in Queens. That was 3 weeks after the homicide here. It's also where residents are relieved. Shayla Hernandez, a neighbor, expressed her horror and eventual relief, saying, I feel terribly bad that that happened to her. I am very happy to hear about it because we were scared. We heard different stories from different people, and I happen to live on the floor above her, so I'm very happy. It makes me feel a lot better and more secure that they finally arrested somebody. On July 25th, a warrant had been issued for Sakina Thompson. An arrest affidavit stated Sakina Thompson was demonstrating a depraved mind without regard for human life by stabbing with a sharp object with a premeditated intent to cause death. It was not clear when Thompson would be extradited, but eventually Sakina was extradited to Florida. At her arraignment, prosecutors charged Sakina Thompson with first-degree murder. This was not a crime of passion, the district attorney stated. This was premeditated, calculated, and executed with chilling precision. The judge denied bail, citing flight risk and the severity of the crime. Sakina Thompson was now behind bars. But the story was far from over. Just as her past online actions revealed a hidden truth, a new, unforeseen development was about to emerge from within her jail cell, adding yet another layer to this already shocking case. As Sakina was led away, she showed the first crack in her composure, asking for paper to write a letter. That letter, addressed to the judge, revealed something no one knew. Behind the walls of her cell, Sakina Thompson's reality was starkly different from the life she once displayed on social media. The glamour she sought seemed distant, replaced by the harsh confines of pretrial detention. It was within these very walls that an astonishing development unfolded. Weeks into her incarceration, Sakina discovered she was 8 weeks pregnant with Terry's child. This unexpected turn added a new, complex dimension to her situation. It was a detail she would attempt to use as leverage in her pursuit of freedom. So she committed the crime while pregnant. From jail, Sakina penned a letter to the presiding judge, a direct appeal for leniency. She wrote, "To your Honorable Judge Casey, I'm writing this letter to you in hopes of finding mercy from the court to allow me to give birth outside of jail while also fighting my case. Please have sympathy for me, being that I am a first-time mother and have no priors, never been in trouble before." She continued, expressing terror at the thought of labor while incarcerated, claiming the facility was not properly suitable to accommodate a pregnant woman. Her words, pleading for understanding, stood in chilling contrast to the allegations against her. A mind capable of such alleged brutality now sought compassion. Could a person who seemingly showed no empathy for her victim truly expect it in return? Public reaction was swift and strong, a wave of condemnation for her audacity. Meanwhile, Kayla's family continued their quiet vigil, holding on to hope for true accountability for their lost loved one. 1 month after Kayla's murder, hundreds gathered at a beachside memorial service. Friends and family released purple balloons, Kayla's favorite color, into the clear Florida sky. Her mother clutched a framed photo, her face marked by grief that words cannot capture. The fate of Sakina Thompson and her desperate plea rested entirely with the court. Would the judge be swayed by her appeal, or would the gravity of her alleged actions outweigh her bid for a temporary release? The judge's decision on Sakina Thompson's plea was unequivocal. Her request for bond was denied. The court's assessment was clear. Her alleged actions were deemed ruthless, callous, and extreme. The plea for mercy delivered from behind bars could not erase the horrific nature of the events she was accused of. As of now, Sakina Thompson remains in custody, awaiting trial for Kayla Hodgson's murder. Her pregnancy progressed behind bars. She gave birth to a son who was immediately placed in the care of Terry's parents. Justice, a path often long and arduous, continues its measured course. Her defense will undoubtedly work to present its case, perhaps attempting to shift focus onto the tumultuous relationship with Terry or other mitigating factors. But the core facts of Kayla's violent end remain. Terry, who was never charged in connection with the murder, has remained largely silent. In his only public statement, he expressed profound regret for the choices that led to this tragedy while denying any knowledge of Sakina's plans. Kayla Hodgson's life was cut short at 23, but her story continues to impact others. It's a tragic reminder that jealousy, when taken to its extreme, can destroy multiple lives in an instant. She never saw the danger approaching. A young woman with dreams and ambitions became collateral damage in someone else's obsession. Kayla Hodgson's death serves as a powerful cautionary tale. It reveals the destructive force of unchecked jealousy, how obsession can twist a mind, leading to unimaginable violence. This story is a reminder of the hidden currents in relationships and the paramount importance of accountability when those currents turn deadly. It underscores that even in the most seemingly ordinary lives, the capacity for extreme acts can lie dormant, waiting for a trigger. If you recognize controlling behaviors in your relationship or a friend's, reach out for help. Resources are available 24/7, and early intervention can prevent tragedy. For Kayla's friends and family, the pursuit of justice is paramount. But beyond the court proceedings, their focus remains on honoring her memory. They remember her bright spirit, her kindness, her enduring light. A life extinguished far too soon, yet never forgotten. This case affected us deeply while researching it, and we hope sharing Kayla's story helps someone recognize dangerous patterns before they escalate. What are your thoughts on Kayla's tragic story? Have you ever witnessed powerful emotions lead to destructive outcomes? Let us know your perspective in the comments below. If this deep dive has held your attention, hit that like button. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to 24/7 True Crime Chronicles for more real-life true crime stories that explore the complex depths of human behavior. Don't forget to check out our other true crime stories, crime documentaries, and playlists on this channel. Thank you for watching to the end, and we'll see you in our next true crime story.